Hi everyone, myself Dr. P. Soumya, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering College. So in this session, I'm going to discuss about environmental education, urban sprawl. So in this session, I'm going to cover the topics. So what is environmental education? Importance of environmentally educated people, values of the environmental education, urban sprawl, reasons for the development of sprawl, impacts of urban sprawl, and conclusion of the urban sprawl. So first, what is environmental education? There is a Chinese proverb, if you plant for 1 year, plant rice. If you plant for 1 year, plant rice. If you plant for 10 years, if you plant for 10 years, plant trees. If you plant for 1 year, plant rice. If you plant for 10 years, plant trees. And if you plant for 100 years, educate the people. Educate the people. So here, if you plant for 1 year, plant rice. If you plant for 10 years, plant trees. If you plant for 100 years, educate the people. So this is a Chinese proverb. So if we want to protect and manage our planet Earth on the sustainable basis, we have no other option but to make all persons environmentally educated. So if we want to protect and also manage our planet Earth on sustainable basis, so we have no other option but to make all persons environmentally educated. So we should educate all the persons the environmental education. So this is only one option. So for protecting and managing our Earth planet. So here importance of environmental educated. So environment belongs to all. Environment belongs to all, and participation of masses is a must for successful implementation of environmental protection plans. Hence, every person should be environment literate. So, this environment belongs to all the people, and also participation of masses. It is a must for successful implementation of environmental protection plans. So, hence, every person should environmentally literate. So here, living in technology, developing society, so our lifestyles and attitudes have become self-oriented. Living in technologically developing society, our lifestyles and attitudes have become self-oriented. So environmental education, it is needed to change the mindset of modern society for an earth-oriented approach. So environmental education, it is needed to change the mindset of the modern society for an earth-oriented approach. So there is a need to make the public environmentally educated about the serious health impacts of environmental pollution and their right to live in a clean and healthy environment. So there is a need to make public environmentally educated about the serious health impacts of environmental pollution and their right to live in a clean and healthy environment. So there is an urgent need to educate people that we have no other option but to follow sustainability principles. So there is an urgent need to educate the people that we have no other option but only we have to follow sustainability principles. So only then life of mankind on this earth would be secure and our future generation would be safe. So by following sustainability principles, so only only then the life of mankind on this earth would be secure and our future generations would be safe. So, environmental education as a mandatory subject. So, we should include the environmental education. It is as a mandatory subject. And following the Supreme Court directives in MC Mehta versus Union of India, environmental education has been included the curriculum right from the school stage to the college university level. The prime objectives of the same is to make everyone environment literate. So, in order to propagate environmental education for each citizenship, it has to be value oriented. So, in order to propagate environmental education for each earth citizenship, it has to be value oriented. It has to be value oriented. So, what are those values? Human values, and social values. So, first human values: preparation of textbooks and resources materials about environmental education can play an important role in building positive attitudes about environment. So first human values, that is in this preparation of textbooks and resources materials, textbooks and materials about environmental education. These can play a major role in building positive attitudes about environment. So the basic human value, man in nature rather than nature for man, needs to be infused through the same. So these are the human values. Social values means love, compassion, tolerance, and justice, which are basic teaching of most our religions. So need to be woven into environmental education. So these are the values to be nurtured so that all forms of life and biodiversity on this earth protected. Cultural and religious values. So these are the values instilled in Vedas like Delhi to Dadamite. So here you give me, I give you. Meaning of this is Delhi mein Dadamite means so you give me and I give you. So it is written in Ayurveda. So which emphasize that the man should not exploit nature without nurturing her. So this meaning is which emphasize that man should not exploit nature without nurturing her. So here our customs and rituals in many ways teach us to perform such functions as would protect and nature and also respect every aspect of nature, treating them as a sacred, be it rivers, earth, mountains, or forest. So these are the culture and religious values. So these are most important values. So ethical values and global values. Environmental education should encompass the ethical values of earth-centric rather than human-centric worldview. So the educational system should promote the earth citizenship thinking. So instead of considering human being as a supreme, we have to think the welfare of the earth. So the educational system should promote the earth citizenship thinking. Educational system should promote the earth citizenship thinking. Instead of considering human being as a supreme, we have to think of welfare of the earth. So this is ethical value, global values. The concept that the human civilization, it is a part of planet as a whole and similar nature and various natural phenomena over the earth are interconnected and interlinked with special bonds of harmony. So if we disturb this harmony anyway, so then there will be ecological effects. So here, spiritual values. Spiritual values means principles of self-resistance, self-discipline, contentment, reduction of wants, and freedom from greed, austerity are some of the finest elements intricately woven into the traditional and religious fabric of our country. So all these values promote conservationism and transform our consumerist approach. So the above mentioned human values, socio-cultural, ethical, spiritual, and global values incorporated into environmental education. So these all values should be incorporated into environmental education. So this can go a long way in attaining the goals of sustainable development and environmental conservation. So value-based environmental education can bring in a total transformation of our mindset, our attitude, and our lifestyle. So value-based environmental education, this can bring in a total transformation of our mindset, our attitude, and also our lifestyle. So what is urban sprawl? So very often there is the expansion of urban growth. We know that. So very often there is expansion of urban growth on the edges of cities and towns, gobbling up to the surrounding countryside. Urban sprawl, it is also known as horizontal spreading or dispersed urbanization. Urban sprawl, it is nothing but horizontal spreading of the city or dispersed urbanization. The uncontrolled and disproportionate expansion of urban area into the surrounding countryside, forming low density, poorly planned patterns of development, it is described as urban sprawl. The uncontrolled and disproportionate expansions of an urban area into the surrounding countryside, forming low density, poorly planned patterns of development. So this is described as urban sprawl. So the urban sprawl characterized by increased prosperity and economic growth and adequately affordable land, poor urban planning, more dependence on automobiles, destruction of prime croplands, forest lands, wetlands, increased problems of urban flooding. So urban sprawls are increasing in most of the developed regions. So these urban sprawls are increasing in the most developed regions. Due to urban sprawls, there is unplanned growth of housing, shopping complexes, office complexes, encroaching upon free natural landscapes. Because of the unplanned urban sprawls, unplanned growth of housing, shopping complexes, office complexes, encroaching upon free natural landscapes. So we are losing the free natural sources. So although there is a lot of time wasted by people living in such urban sprawls, as they have to spend many more hours driving to and from workplace, it preferred by many because it is away from urban pollution, because of it is away from the urban pollution. So what is urban sprawl? Urban sprawl, it is a situation where large stores, groups of houses, etc. are built in an area around a city that formerly had a few people of living in it. Urban sprawl, it is a situation where large stores, groups of houses, etc. these are built in an area around a city that formerly had few people of living in it. So here spreading a city or its suburbs, and it is urban sprawl. It is centered around auto-oriented, low-density development, and it is a metropolitan decentralization, suburbanization, and it is impact. It will impact the quality of life from large cities to small towns because of the urban sprawl. So, spreading of city and its suburbs taking place, and it is leads to centered around auto-oriented low density development, So it is a metropolitan decentralization and suburbanization taking place. So this will impact the quality of life from large cities to small towns. So what are the reasons for the development of urban sprawl? So here lower land rates, improved infrastructure, rise in standard of living, lack of urban planning, lower house tax rates, rise in population growth, consumer preferences. So these are the reasons for the development of sprawl. So lower land rates, lower cost land and houses in the outer suburbs of the cities, because the centers of urban development have really made people want to stop settling in this area and want to venture for it further out. So because of the lower land rates, so the urban sprawls are increasing. Lower the cost of land and also houses in outer suburbs of the cities. So because the centers of urban development have really made people want to stop settling in these areas and they want to venture further out. And improved infrastructure. There is increased spending on certain types of infrastructures, including roads and electricity. So there is increased spending on certain types of infrastructure, including roads and electricity. So this is something that has not always been available, and there are still some areas that don't have these luxuries. That does not mean that they are not working on it. So rise in standard of living. There are also increases in standards of living and also average family incomes, which means that people have the ability to pay more to travel and they commute longer distances to work and back to home. So lack of urban planning. So that is people love to find areas that are less trafficked and more calm, which leads them to sprawl out to other sections of the town. So unprecedented development, cutting of trees, loss of green cover, long traffic jams, poor infrastructure force and people to move out to the new areas. So because this is the lack of urban planning. So because of the people love to find areas that are less traffic and more calm, so which leads them to sprawl out to other sections of the town. Lower house tax rates. Cities will usually have high property taxes. Cities, this will usually have high property taxes, and you can usually avoid these taxes by living in the outer suburbs, because the taxes are usually lower than they would be in the other situations. And this is also one of the most important reason. So this is for the development of sprawl. So rise in population growth. Another factor that contributes towards urban sprawl, it is rise in the population growth. So as the number of people in the city grows beyond capacity, the local communities continue to spread farther and farther from the city centers. So next one is consumer preferences. People in high income groups have stronger preferences towards larger homes. People who are having high income groups, they are having a stronger preferences towards larger homes, more bedrooms, bigger balconies and bigger lawns. So this is also cause urban sprawl, as this option it is not available in crowded city. So this also causes urban sprawl, as this option not available in crowded cities. So people generally look out for low density residential areas, so where they can get home according to their preferences. So that's why people generally look out for the low density residential areas, so where they can get home according to their preferences. So we have positive and negative impacts of urban sprawl. So positive impacts of urban sprawl are, there are some positive impacts of urban sprawl like increase in economic production, increase in opportunities for employment, and better opportunities. So this urban sprawl, it will lead to increase in economic production, increase in opportunities for employment and better opportunities, and also better services, creating better living conditions and better lifestyles. In urban sprawl, it can extend better basic services, infrastructure, as well as social capital such as transportation, sewer, water, better educational facilities, healthcare facilities to larger population. So these are the positive impacts of urban sprawl. Negative impacts of urban sprawl are traffic strains, more traffic, traffic strains of our infrastructure, roads and bridges, air pollution. So here the urban sprawl leads to air pollution, environmental pollution. It strains water supply, and also it will providing streets, utilities and other public facilities. So these are cost more. The cost of the utilities and public facilities, they will cost is increases. Loss of green areas and animal habitats. So because of the urban sprawl, loss of green areas and animal habitats takes place, and also it will separate the classes of people, upper class and lower class. So here like that, upper income groups move further away, and lower income groups stay in the inner city areas. Upper income groups move further away. So here lower income groups stay in inner city areas. So we have ecological impacts of urban sprawl. So the first one is land consumption. The amount of open space used by each inhabitant has increased in the last 20 years by 2 or 3 times. Land consumption is increased into last 20 years by 2 to 3 times. The amount of open space used by each inhabitant, it has been increased. So in the last 20 years, that is 2 to 3 times. So energy consumption. The level of gas consumption can be used as a parameter of level of car use. So the United Nations and European Union have moved in favor of the compact city, embracing the position supported by research, so that denser cities consume at least amount of energy for transport. So denser cities, so this will consume more energy for transport. So energy consumption is more. So because of the urban sprawl. And atmospheric pollution like air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, all pollution, atmospheric pollution. So this may leads the urban sprawl may leads to the atmospheric environment pollution. So the level of pollution due to motor car dependency can more easily be connected to the population densities. So here atmospheric pollution, environment pollution, it will leads to the water pollution, soil pollution, all air pollutions. So because of the usage of motor cars and more motor cars, so it will lead to the atmospheric pollution. So coming to the conclusion, different situations are observed. If we see to cause the sprawl, we know that the cause of sprawl. So different situations are observed to cause sprawl. In almost all cases, rise in population, this plays a major role in main cause. So this is the main cause of the urban sprawl. The urban sprawl, it has been recognized as a problematic aspect of metropolitan growth and development in the world over. The urban sprawl, it has been recognized as a problematic aspect of metropolitan growth and development in the world over. So the growing concern about the issue is shared among planners, policymakers, environmentalists, and people in general. So this is about environmental education and urban sprawl. So we should educate the each people by the value based environmental education. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.